fact, James wrote some amazing things in his book of the New Testament. James was the brother of Jesus. Historical writings other than the Bible tell us that James went on to become the leader of the church in Jerusalem, and ultimately he was stoned to death because he refused to deny that his brother Jesus was the Messiah. If you turn to James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, look at what he said about trials. He said, "Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow. For when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing." Here's what James, the brother of Jesus and an eventual martyr for the cause of Christ, said about trials. It's your next fill-in. Trials are tests. Trials are tests in our life. Basically, he was saying when you face trials, consider it a good thing because your faith is being tested. Now, I don't know anyone who wakes up to a toothache and says, "Thank you, Jesus, for a toothache today," right? "Oh, yes, God, thank you. Another car problem on this piece of junk that I have to drive," right? I'm so happy. But James is saying these trials can be pivotal circumstances for your faith to be tested. And if you're going to trust God and look to him for provision and growth in your faith, you're either going to do that or you're going to shake your fist at God and say, "Again, you let me down because this trial that I'm going through is so terrible." He goes on to say this: trials are tests, and tests create perseverance. Tests create perseverance. He says, "For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow." In other words, your faith will grow. When your faith is tested, when you go through trials, you have a chance for your faith to persevere, for endurance, for faith to grow and get stronger. Honestly, most of the time we want faith that is active, enduring, and death-defying, but we don't want the testing of our faith that's necessary for us to get there. We want that kind of faith. We look at other people that have it. We want it, and we wonder why we can't have it, but we don't want to be tested, right? How many times do we look at someone who has that kind of faith and we want it? We can almost get jealous of that kind of faith. Like, I want it. How can I get it? It's not fair. Maybe they were born with it. But the truth is, we're not willing to be tested. We're not willing to be awakened from our spiritual slumber by the pain of trials and difficulties. Man, I don't know if I'm preaching to you or not, but I know in my life, I'm not looking forward to those. But so many times we want the faith, but we're not willing to go through the trials. Isn't that true? We say we believe. God, guys, tell me this isn't true. We say we believe in a God that provides, but we don't want to go through the trials and the difficulties that will cause that kind of faith to grow. I mean, I believe God's going to provide, but don't ask me to give up 10% of my income. I mean, because that might put me through a trial. That might put me through some tests. I might have to live without some of my necessities or my comforts. Like, you don't understand. If I give 10% on Sunday, when I get paid, there won't be enough money at the end of the week for some of my other needs or my wants. Now, I know God says put him first and he'll supply, but that's really scary, and I'd rather just do it on my own ability. Listen, we don't have to just talk about money alone. This truth can be applied to every area of faith in our life. God, if I take a stand in my dating life, it's going to be lonely and it might never work out for me. And God says, trust me as you go through these trials. God, if I put you first in my marriage or with my kids, what's going to happen? What about my job? And guys, here's something I believe to be true. It's not on your note card, but this is true. We don't even know what we actually believe until what we claim to believe has been tested. That's a truth in your life. You don't actually know what you actually believe until what you claim to believe has been tested. You know, you say you believe God will provide financially, but you won't know if you really believe that until it's been tested. When there's too much month at the end of the money and your back is against the wall, do you open your hand and give, or do you hold it closely, right? God, I believe you can restore any relationship, but you won't really know that until it's been tested, right? When things are going good in your marriage and you can say that, you believe God can restore any relationship, but you don't really know what you really believe until your marriage goes through tests and you question, is this thing real? Can it really be fixed? You believe God heals. I mean, many of us say we believe God heals, but you don't really know what you believe until the fact that you claim to believe God heals is tested by some kind of health problem for you or someone that you love. One preacher put it this way, it's your next fill-in: a faith that can't be tested can't be trusted.